had an interesting week.
Let's start with your interesting week, because I've been looking forward to this for a while.
We'll just jump right into it here.
I want to do the intro to it because I got a soft lead into it. Because our buddy JD, who used to do other podcasts with us, he messaged me on Facebook because we talk on Facebook, and he's just like, fucking Jim and one of my other friends are arguing on Facebook. Next thing I know, they're supposed to go to the shooting range Sunday, and they're each one of them are messaging me asking if the other one's a lunatic.
That's my favorite part of the story.
And I said, I can't wait till Monday.
Okay, yeah, so there was another school shooting. AR-15 was involved. 17 people. Was it like 14 kids and 3 staff members or something like that? They're dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I love guns. I've loved guns since I was a little kid. I got a FOID card. I shoot. I think if you want to own a gun, that's not a problem. But I get to this reason. I get to this line in the sand where I say, what kind of gun do you need really? You know, and then the most popular reaction is just a knee-jerk reaction of, I don't need it, but it's my right, so I can have whatever gun I want. But is your right more important than kids dying? I know it's not just the gun either, right? We got to come at this from all angles. But that's a really easy gun to shoot. And it's a really easy gun to shoot a lot of targets with quickly, as evidenced by these people that are not military snipers that are just gunning down, 12, 17, 58 people at a time. And it's like, do you need that? So we started arguing back and forth, and I posted a long post. I don't know if JD showed it to you. It was a long post where I ranted, and I was mad. I ranted about how, look, you either have this gun, this AR-15, any gun similar to it, right? You have a gun like that because you either think it's fun to shoot and they're cool, which I agree. You think it's necessary to protect you from something, or you think it's going to help you stop the government from putting us all into concentration camps and taking all of our guns away or something. I agree with the first one. It is fun to shoot, and they're cool to have. The other two, though, that's just in your mind. Because I don't care how good you are, if you're one person with a rifle like that, and the military comes to your door, and let's say there's 12 armed, National Guard or whoever would be rounding up the guns, maybe you'll get a couple of them, but you're definitely going to die. And they all admit that. I'm going to die, but I'm taking some of them with me. You're not taking many of them with you, and you're just going to die and look like an idiot. So there's really no need for anyone to have these. Now, but I did say, if you can demonstrate a good need to have this, let's say you're a private security guy, and sometimes, my cousin, for instance, I'm not going to say his name, and I'm not going to say where he works, but it's a very high security facility. But he's not military or law enforcement, but he is required to carry an AR-15 around when he's on his patrols and all that stuff and train with it. So if he said, like, look, this is my job, it'd be nice if I had one at home and then I could just go train at the range whenever, I would say maybe, okay? But just to have one, these people that just have these just to have these create the market in which you can go anywhere and just buy these. You can just go buy one anywhere. And it's a rifle, so you don't even need the handgun background check or anything. I'll get to it. I'll shorten it up.
Well,
Go ahead, interject.
I haven't said anything in a minute, and I'm losing my mind. But no, it's always strange when I go to Bass Pro Shop because I'm a fisherman now, apparently, and I'm looking at the cool clothes, I'm looking at the cool gear, all the new fishing stuff, and then I take another couple steps, and it's just like PUBG.
Yeah.
And there's just fucking assault rifles, and some of them are fucking pink for the girls, and I'm just like, it's just right there, and I look at the price tag, and I'm like, I can afford that.
That is part of my point, is that, yes, these guns have been around since the 70s. We agreed. Well, okay. I'll get there. So one of JD's friends and I were going back and forth. and he's probably tried this in the past, and it just blew up in his face, where he said, I'll continue this discussion. Here's what he said that made me angry. Because I said, you don't need those guns. I don't care how well trained you are. You're not stopping the Army. Okay? If they want to take over, they're taking over. And I said, kids are dying because you think these guns are cool, basically. And he said, you just said, you're talking about at least one person you don't know, which he was implying himself, and at least one thing you don't know about, which he's implying that I don't know about, firearms. And he said, I will continue this discussion with you if you go shooting with me. And I said, okay, when are we going?
Ooh.
And he's like, can you go Saturday? And I said, no. But I said, are they open Sunday? He said, yes, they are. I said, I can go Sunday. What time? 11 o'clock. Okay, I'll meet you there. And I said, you're buying, right? Like, I'm not going there to, like, pay the range fee and buy bullets and all this stuff. I don't even own a gun anymore. He said, oh, yeah, it's my treat. Okay.
That's nice.
It was nice, and he's very nice. So then I went to JD. This is the part of the story you opened with. And I said, JD, I don't know this guy. I said, am I going to get American sniped when I go to this range? Like, is he going to kill me? And this guy said to JD, is he going to Chris Kyle me at this range? So we both knew.
Same joke.
Yeah, but it was sort of not a joke.
Yeah.
And JD said, yeah, he's a really nice guy. He's you probably agree with him on like all kinds of things except this. You know, like this is probably his only thing that's considered like far right or conservative or whatever. We get there, we meet. I park. I go in there. I'm not going to say the name of the place because I'm about to disparage the guy that owns it. So we go there, and we wait in line. It's a busy range. It's a Sunday. It's the weekend. It snows out. When the weather's shitty and you can't go shoot at outdoor ranges, the indoor ranges get crowded.
Of course. Can I interject real quick?
Sure,
with a question?
certainly. Please.
How does this introduction go? Hey, you're him, right? How was the drive?
Here's how it goes. I contacted him on Messenger. We both mentioned to each other that we were making sure JD has vetted the people properly and no one's going to get killed. And I said, well, here's my number. And he said, here's my number. So I parked on the street, and I was a little early. And I know what one of the cars that he drives, because it used to be his profile picture, and I didn't see that car. And so I was just sitting in my car, and he texts me, hurry up, James. That's only 2-hour parking where you are. Let's go. And I look, and he's walking down the block towards the range. I'm like, that's a weird way to put it. I don't know what I'm getting in for here. And the sort of the guy on Facebook that I thought I knew, he's very much not like that. He's not really funny, and not in a bad way, but he's very dry. He's very serious. He doesn't look you in the eye a lot. Let's just put it this way. If I had not texted JD, I would be pretty sure he was going to kill me there.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a really nice guy. He's super nice guy and very reasonable. But we go in. I take a number.
I gotta take a number. I've never been shooting. I'm very interested in it. PUBG has me wanting to shoot all of the guns.
They're
and I used to have a
fun.
Floyd card. I don't have a Floyd card anymore. I gotta get back on that. But
It's fun, man.
You throw a little money at it. You get the pop, pop, pop. You feel good. You feel strong. And then you put the murder machine down for a little bit. And you go home.
I'm gonna be honest. You threw a lot of money at it. You know, that's why I got out of the game. I couldn't afford it.
He's showing off. He was just like,
I couldn't afford it. Well, it's his thing. It's his passion. So he wasn't really showing off. That's just like where he puts his money. It's important to him.
Yeah, I buy Steam games. He does that.
He does that, and it's a fun hobby. I'm not gonna lie. Here's where it gets really interesting. We walk in. We sign in the sign-in sheet. Take a number. We're standing back waiting. We're just sort of small talk, nothing really of note. And then I don't even honestly remember the owner's name. He said, hey, I brought this guy here to shoot with me today. He thinks we should take all the guns away.
Oh, what a dick move.
So which is, not even close to anything I said. In the original post, I said, you want a shotgun? You want a pistol for home defense? Got no problem with it. Makes total sense. You want to carry a pistol on you all the time loaded? That's fine. That makes sense. I don't have a problem with that. But do you need an assault rifle with 30, 50 round magazine, something like that? Do you need that? Probably not. Here's where it gets interesting. He goes, oh, yeah? Get out right now. Oh, I'm just kidding. But then there's an old guy in the back that's like, get this fucking guy out of here. And this place, Dale, this place is packed. It is packed. I got nobody in my corner. I'm not exaggerating. There's probably at least 12 people in the lobby here, including the people that work there, me and this gentleman I just met, and then people waiting to shoot. 12 people at least, maybe 15. And but I didn't back down. I stood my ground. I'm like, oh, well, that's not what I said. He pulls out his phone. Oh, let me pull it up. And the guy sees it. He goes, this is 3 fucking paragraphs. I'm not reading this. And he's like, just read it. And he reads through it.
I can't read.
He reads through it, and he says, so you think these guns? There's an AR-15 behind him that's up for a raffle. It's behind him on this little rack. He says, so you think this gun is more dangerous than another gun? And I know these arguments. I used to be that guy that made the arguments against the gun control people. So I know all the arguments. And I was like, well, yeah, I do. He's like, oh, and then everyone's like, ha, this fucking idiot, this guy doesn't know shit. I'm like, wait a minute. So you're saying that it's not easier to kill people quickly with that gun that's designed just to kill people than it is a pistol or something? He goes, no, it's not. Okay. Well, there's a problem, because if you think that a pistol is just as good at killing people as this other thing, then why do you care if we ban it?
Yeah, I mean, and it's just as wrong as you could possibly get.
Right, and this guy
it's
said...
like, here's an assault rifle with, 30, 50 shots, and then you have this other thing with smaller bullets, and it's what, 6, 12? I don't know guns as well as you do.
That's where it got...
But just like the pure number. It's like, well...
Well, he brought out a 30-round magazine for the Glock that he had on his hip. He said, there's a 30-round magazine right there. I said,
okay,
yeah.
So he's trying to even it up.
He's trying to even it up.
Pistols are just as bad / good.
Well, he started with the shotgun. He's like, here's what happens. You want to start banning guns like this, then they go, oh, we got to ban the AKs. And I'm like, well, I would include that in there, but yeah, let's ban the AKs too. He's like, then you're going to ban this shotgun over here. I said, no. He said, oh, yeah, they will. And I said, can you demonstrate at some point in history when that's ever happened in this country? Yeah, Stalin, Hitler, who's the guy in Korea? Kim, what's his name? The Korea guy. Taking the guns. You can't overthrow him because they took the guns away. I said, that's not here. I'm not talking about there. I'm talking about here. I said, we had the assault weapons ban in 94. They said, no more high-capacity magazines. And that was it. They didn't do it. They didn't take anybody's guns away. He's like, well, that wasn't a ban. They just couldn't make them anymore. But you could still buy the old. I'm like, you're splitting hairs now, okay? You know what I mean. I said, no, you can keep the shotgun. He goes, oh, yeah? I can kill just as many people just as fast with this shotgun as you can with this AR-15. And I said,
why would they say these things?
I said, you know that's not true. I said, you're an expert. I said, you mean to tell me if you walked in here right now with that AR-15 and started picking people off, it would be just as easy to hit as many targets and kill them as it would with the shotgun, which holds 8 rounds? Yeah? And he starts showing me the buckshot. And he's like, I forget the amount. It's either 6 or 7 pellets in the shell. And he's like, 6, 12, 18. I'm like, that doesn't work like that. You know that. I said, what's the spread on one of those shots at 10 feet? And he's like, I don't know, about like he pulls up his hand at the size of a baseball. Like, yeah, you're not shooting 6 different people with that. He's like, it's going to go through them and into the next person. And I said, so is the assault rifle. Oh, well, I'll show you. And here's the best part, and I wish
no one wants to hear that.
I wish this part was on video. He picks up the shotgun, and he takes a dummy shell. He's like, let me show you. And he can't get the shell in there. And then he forces it in there, and then he tries to cycle the pump, and load the shell so it's chambered. And he can't do that, and it falls out, and he picks it up, and he finally gets it in there, and then he pulling the trigger, and nothing's happening, and the safety was on. And I said, at this point, I'm gone. I'm out the door. I'm down the street. I'm around the corner, and you've not killed anybody. I said, you haven't fired a shot, and I said, I'm long gone. And he's like, well, the safety was on, and I don't put it back with the safety on. I don't know who left it there with the safety on. I don't do that. I'm like, oh, God, you just made your argument terrible. Then he gets to the pistol part, and he's got his Glock on his hip, and he goes, I got a 30-round magazine for this. Should we take these away? I said, no. Why not? It's just as deadly. I said, no, it isn't. I said, and you know it isn't. He said, yeah, it is. He said, this is a bigger bullet. He's talking about the 9mm bullet in the Glock. I said, okay, it's a bigger bullet. But I said, the bullet in there is faster. And everyone goes, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. And I'm like, are these guys, are they trolling me at this point? Do you know that a bullet coming out of an AR-15 with like a 16-inch barrel, that's like the average length, it's like 1,000 feet per second minimum faster than the round coming out of the Glock. 1,000 feet per second. And I said, you're telling me you can shoot the pistol just as accurately as you can shoot that AR-15? Yes, I can. I said, you're lying.
PUBG.
I said, they're so much easier to shoot. And here's the thing for all you people that don't know guns and are wondering why. If you take a pencil, take anything shaped like a pencil right now, and you hold it up and you point it at something, and you look at where it's pointing, and then move the back of the pencil a little bit and watch how far the front of the pencil moves. Now imagine if that's cut in half, right? And then you move the back of the pencil and look where the front of the pencil's pointing. It's way further away. So the longer the barrel is, as long as the barrel's in front of you, like on a rifle, the longer the barrel is, the easier it is to get that bullet to go straighter, for you to aim correctly. I agree that if you mounted the pistol on a gun rest and the rifle on a gun rest, they're both going to go flat and be accurate for a long time. But if you're holding it and aiming it, it's easier to aim a rifle. That's why we give fucking rifles to the military and not just pistols, because they're better at killing people. He wasn't having any of it. Then we went down and shot. Went down and shot. And this guy, this mutual friend, he was very nice. He gave me the safety spiel. I let him do. I was not rude at all. Actually, let me back up a little bit. He says this is the gun store owner's holding this AR-15. He goes, this isn't an assault rifle. He goes, assault is a verb. And he takes the gun and he lurches forward as if to hit me in the face with the butt of the gun, with the stock. And he gets close and he does it quickly. And I didn't flinch or bat an eye. I just stood there and let him do it. And he said, see, assault. That's an assault, okay? This is just a rifle. And then I waited for him to finish his little thing where he thought he got me. I said, actually, I don't know if you know this, assault is a noun and a verb. And I said, since we're talking about that, rifle is also a noun and a verb. So I don't know if that changes your idea about what an assault rifle is. I said, I don't care what you call it. Assault rifle, you could call it I don't care if he calls it a blowjobber. It doesn't matter what it's called. It's a thing that's really good at killing people, and that's pretty much all it's good for. Killing a lot of people quickly. I said, you don't need it. And if it's a big deal, if you think... I said, here's the other thing. You can't give me the slippery slope fallacy. Okay? That is a logical fallacy. If you've ever taken a logic class, you know this. You can't say, if they come for this, then you know they're just going to come for the pistols, and they're going to take them. So you don't know that. And you can't demonstrate that anything like that has ever even been close to happening in this country. And then all he could bring up was other countries. And we talked about terrorists. Here's his stance on terrorism, Dale.
Oh, let me know.
I said, okay, I don't think terrorists should have him either. But I said, this kid in Florida was a terrorist. And the guy in Vegas was a terrorist. And the Dallas shooter was a terrorist. And then I brought up San Bernardino. He goes, that's the only terrorist. I was like, what? He's like, because they're Islams. He said, the other guys aren't Islams. The Islams are the terrorists. The other guys are... I'm like, wait a minute. Do you know what terrorism is? I said, this kid killed 17 students, and now people are living in fear that this is going to happen. It could happen at any time. That's what terrorism is, by definition. And he goes, okay, and I can't remember which way he went with this, but when you hear it, you'll know that it's dumb either way. He goes, okay, so that's terrorism, but he's not a terrorist. Or he may have said, he's a terrorist, but that wasn't terrorism. I'm like, you know that is what that means.
Can you describe what this man looks like?
He's about 6'2", got a flat top.
Yeah.
A lot of tattoos.
Talk about the gut.
It's prominent. You're not hiding that one.
Okay.
Not hiding it. He said he's military. I have no reason to disbelieve that at all. I bled for this right. I'm like, okay. And then I said, let's find a common ground here. We agree that you can't have hand grenades, right? Yes, you can. I have some. I'm like, okay. Anything I came up with,
Rocket launcher. You know he's got an RPG at home.
This bullet's faster than that bullet. No, it's not. When we all know it is. We all know it is. They're talking about, well, this one's got more gunpowder. What the fuck difference does that make? It's
Now,
how fast does it come out of the barrel?
So, at what point were you afraid?
Never.
I would have been afraid immediately. Not like, oh, I'm outnumbered. We have this disagreement on guns, but just like the ignorance and lack of knowledge. And it's like they have access.
That. Instantly.
I would be like, oh no.
Instantly.
It's like when he's loading the shotgun and failing, I'm like, oh, he's going to blow his face off at some point or shoot me on accident because he's not smart.
Then he tried to do this thing where he had a certain magazine he wanted me to look at in a gun, and he went to flip the gun at me and like hit the magazine eject so it would fly at me like John Wick, but instead it just like fell behind the counter and he had to bend down and pick it up, like bounced off the glass counter and fell on the ground. And I was like, Jesus Christ, why don't I have a camera right now?
This is amazing.
The old guy in the corner was the best because he got in my face. He's like, this fucking liberal, you commie pussy, whatever you're saying. He's like, do you know what fascism is? I said, well, yes, I do. It's when the state and it's when the businesses and corporation. It's all one thing. And he's like, no, it's when they take the guns away. I'm like, okay. I said that probably happens, but I said it's neither here nor there. What would you like to tell me? We're not gonna have fucking fascism in this country. And I assumed this old dude was like the guy behind the counter's dad or something.
Sounds like it.
Come to find out, he's just a customer that's always there drinking coffee and yelling at people.
Yeah, Irish coffee.
Here's where I got really afraid. We go downstairs into the range. Got my ear protection on that mutual friend guy brought. I couldn't find mine. And we're down there. He goes over the safety rules. Everything's fine. He's like, you go ahead and shoot first. I start shooting. First couple shots are a little to the left, that's how I roll. Like when I'm off to the left. I'm kind of, I don't know, I guess I'm sort of pushing it when I shoot.
But then you trick your neck like Murtaugh and you straighten that shit.
Then I get dialed in. Put a couple in the center, put a couple more in the center, put a few more in the center to where the center hole is like just one big hole. Shoot some more. Then he shoots. So now I'm standing behind him. He's also wrong-handed. So he's shooting from the other way, which is weird to watch. It's weird to watch over someone's shoulder that's
what do you mean
left-handed.
wrong-handed?
He's left-handed.
Left-handed?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now I'm standing back, and I can see the other people shooting, right? These people that were sort of laughing at me up there. You should be afraid. You should be afraid. They're not even hitting the black. They're like hitting the paper edge around the outside, and they're like, it's maybe like 5 yards away.
No way.
Yes.
You're fucking joking.
No, it's maybe like, if you've never shot a pistol, it's harder than you think. But
I'm sure it is.
But if you go there, I haven't shot a gun in at least 4 years, or maybe 3.5, a long time, right? I don't even have a gun to like practice trigger control with at the house. And it was like a few shots, and then I'm like, okay, I'm dialed in now with this gun I've never shot in my life. And then these other 3 guns I've never shot in my life. Just took a little bit of time. I got dialed in. And I'm watching these other people, and they're terrible. They're really bad. And I shot really well, and I don't own a gun. Most people don't know this, Dale. Do you know why I don't own a gun right now?
Because you have children.
It's part of the reason why. Shooting is expensive and can be time consuming. And I firmly believe that if you're going to own a gun, and especially if you're going to carry a gun, you have a moral duty to make sure you're as proficient as possible with that gun. Because if you miss, the consequences could be devastating and irreversible, right? So I got rid of my gun when we still lived in our tiny house and we had our one son, and I thought, it's just drywall, right? that's not going to stop any bullet. Let's say some guy storms in here, and then I have to shoot him, and then I miss 3 times, and those 3 bullets go through the wall into my son's room. I couldn't live with myself, right? And I said, I can't afford to shoot more than once a week. I couldn't afford to shoot at all, but the way I look at it, you should be shooting at least once a week. You know, you got to keep that fresh, right? I couldn't shoot. I hadn't shot for a long time. I didn't have the money. You know, you have to buy bullets. You have to pay for time at the range. So I sold the gun. I said, if I can't be in tip-top shape with this, I do not deserve to have it here. And all I'm doing is giving myself a false sense of security. And so I got rid of my gun. And I shot better than all of these other people around me that are like, I got 40 guns at home. It's my goddamn fucking right.
Well, see, that's why they want that AR. They don't need to aim.
But he wouldn't concede that point to me, the guy upstairs. Like, if you can aim a pistol really well and you have really good trigger control, it's nothing for you to hit shots with an AR-15. I don't know if you said you've never shot at all. It's like shooting a pellet gun. Like, there's almost no recoil. It goes straight back into your shoulder. It's really easy to make follow-up shots with, you know, like the gun's not flying all. It's not like a big high I mean, it's faster than a pistol round, but it's not like shooting like a sniper rifle or something, right? Where there's a big kick and you got to you know, reset everything so you're aiming down your sight again. It's really easy to just, it's almost like a video game, right? That's why 17 people died, and he didn't even use all 30 rounds in that magazine.
Damn.
You walk into a school with a shotgun with 8 rounds in it.
You'll get 8 and
maybe
tops. You'll get 8 tops.
8 tops. 8
and
tops.
One of those brave kids or somebody will tackle you, and that's a wrap.
And then when you go to reload with any standard shotgun, it's you tip it over 1, 2, 3. You got to push the shells in. It's not as easy as using an assault rifle. So my only point was, it's either, you can't have it both ways. It's either so good that you can kill the government with it, or your pistol's good enough. So what are you worried about? So it was all over. We went and got some coffee, me and the guy. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, and I made sure on our way up, the old crazy guy was talking to a new customer that had come in since we had been down shooting. And this guy was talking about a YouTube channel that I've watched before. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Oh, yeah, that guy, his shop's out in Valparaiso. I've met him. Oh, yeah, he's a nice guy. This just is a fuck you to the old guy that just thinks I'm some hippie pussy that doesn't know shit about guns. Mm-hmm. I had to, just get that in there for him.
Before you go to the coffee, you're shooting, he's shooting, the hillbillies are shooting and missing. And were they hillbillies?
No, dude's got like big gauges in his ear and like tattoos. Weird. And
okay. Well, that's good. That's good. See, we took a stereotype and we smashed a little bit. Now
he had a weird stance. The guy with the gauges in his ear. He had like the weird
wide, like straight on,
sort of like a bladed stance, but he's like way leaning back a little bit. Like you're supposed to lean forward into it. It helps your control. This guy's like leaning back like he's worried the gun's going to blow up in his face or something. Then, so we're down there shooting, and the range alarm light goes off.
Oh,
and our new buddy tells me, okay, we got to back up, get to the back of the wall. Range master comes down, and he goes, guys, I just wanted you to know, I came down here. Someone keeps shooting the ceiling, and you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't shoot the ceiling. That's why I'm down here. Like somebody shot the ceiling and a piece of lead flew back and hit this guy that I just met. It like hit him in the neck and he's like bleeding from the neck. Just like a little flat like shard of lead. It wasn't anything dangerous, right? But it's because somebody was shooting the fucking ceiling. Dale, you know how hard it is to shoot this? You have to aim at the goddamn ceiling to shoot it. Like, okay, if you'd never shot a gun before, I took you to the range, I got your stance all lined up, put the target 3 to 5 yards away and had you aim at the target, you're going to hit the paper. Okay, you're going to hit the paper. To hit the ceiling, you got to point the goddamn gun at the ceiling.
Two things. One, he sneezed. Two, maybe it was some sort of automatic pistol and he was just holding that shit. So then he started getting the ceiling.
It was not. You can't shoot those down there.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, you can't shoot those down there. That's the other thing he was talking about. I said, well, we agree that you can't have fully automatic guns. I do. I have a stamp. I'm like, I know you do. You own a fucking gun store. I know you have a license that allows you to have all this shit. But a 17-year-old Johnny that wants to blow up his school can't just go buy a fully automatic gun. You can't. And then we got one more thing about the argument. I said, you're telling me it's not any easier to get this gun now. But I said, how many gun manufacturers made an AR-15 style gun in the 70s? He's like, I don't know, a handful. Like, how many are there now? All of them do, right? I said, so all of them are making it. There's more of them, and they're cheaper. And they're like, no, it's not. I'm like, yeah, they are. They're $800 now. If they were $400 in the 70s, that's like $1,600 now. You know, they're cheaper to get. Everybody makes them. Magazines are everywhere for them. Do we need them all out there? And their answer varied from yes to no, but I want them. Like the same person went from, yeah, we do need them to, well, no, we don't, but I want them. We go to coffee. Go ahead. What do you want to say? I don't want to bogart the whole show.
I didn't get to the part. So you're shooting, they're shooting, not hillbillies. Some people have gauges and bad stances. Mm-hmm. What does a mutual friend say after you shoot and you say you've done well? I believe you. He shoots not as well. I believe you.
Well, I didn't say that he didn't shoot as well.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking like when I stepped back and then I could see into the other lanes.
Did he shoot similar to you? Was there any? Were there any like? Gotcha. I'm good.
I don't know because I don't know what he was trying to do, and he seemed really nervous. I wasn't nervous at all. He seemed nervous. He doesn't know me. He's trying to give me the rundown of what goes on down there, and it's sort of like it's not like he knows these people, so it's on him. Like if I turn out to be a total asshole, it's on him, right? So he was a little nervous, okay? And also I don't know what he was trying to do. At some point I saw that he was trying to, so you've got the center target.
He was trying to shoot it, I'd imagine.
Well, but you got the center part of the target and then ovals around the outside and they each have a number. You know, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up and down. And at one point I could tell he was trying to hit the number in each oval, right? And he was pretty close, you know? I was just trying to go, okay, up high in the head area and then in the middle of the chest area and just see how many I could put straight in there. And like tore a giant ass hole in the middle of this target with the first gun. The second gun.
Did you keep it like Lethal Weapon?
No.
Fuck off.
He reeled it. He's like, we're going to get a new target. He reels it back in. He pulls it off. He walks to the garbage can and immediately throws it in the garbage. He didn't ask me if I wanted to keep it or anything like that, right?
That sucks.
But I wanted to keep it. And show it's nice to make a big hole right in the middle.
Yeah, like what I did.
But these other people were bad. All bad stances, just weird. And the other thing is like this guy shoots, he said, once a month at least. And he shoots 9 competitions a year. And I'm like, man, that's not that good then. Like that's what worries me. Like if people drove as badly as they shoot, we would have a problem. There'd be a big fucking problem. We take for granted how well we all like to talk about shitty drivers and shitty driving. But for the most part, doesn't like 99% of people are like in the lane they want to be in? Right.
They're not driving through the ceiling.
They're not driving through the ceiling. They're not going into oncoming traffic. It happens, right? Sure. But it's not. If you go to a gun range on just a random day and you watch how bad a shot most of these people are, god damn, just be lucky that these people are in the minority and that most people don't want to go shoot guns and don't want to own a bunch of them. Because if most people had guns and most people shot at this proficiency, there'd be 1 million gun deaths a year.
Well, I mean, you always hear, at least I do, I see these all the time, and I always kind of laugh when I make sure nobody's dead. But it's just like gun instructor shoots himself in the asshole and stuff like that. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Someone shoots a ceiling at a gun range, and he was like, if you shoot the cable, it costs us $1,000 to fix that cable that puts the targets down there. So just stop shooting at the ceiling. And he didn't look at me. And I was like, please don't look at me. I'll go take my fucking target out of the garbage right now. And I will show me which one of those hit the ceiling. I didn't have one that hit the white part of the paper. I mean, it was all in the black and then in the center.
He probably knew. He was like, God damn, Jerry's shooting the ceiling again.
God damn it, Jerry. I told you
Jerry.
to stop shooting the fucking ceiling.
We know you come here and you just give us all your money, and we love that, but you got to stop shooting the ceiling.
I felt like we reached each other, though. When we had coffee was the best part of it, okay? We had a nice hour and a half, 2-hour conversation about
Jesus
how
Christ.
this needs to be comprehensive and that he agrees it's not just a mental health issue, and I agree that it's not just an assault rifle issue. But I said, we need to have these discussions where we can sit down at the table, literally sitting down at the table, and talk about what are we willing to put on the table and take off the table. I said, I'm willing to say, let's have at least 3 security resource officers in a school the size of the one I work at. Right now, we've got 1, and he's not always there. And sometimes there's a police officer there, but sometimes he's not always there. And I said, I'm willing to go that route. You know, yeah, we should all have metal detectors at these schools. They're $30,000, Dale. They're expensive. That's why not everybody has them. In the meantime, I said, what about this? If you think taking away these assault weapons is not going to make a significant impact, then let's put a sunset on it. Let's say for 3 years, you can't have a 30-round magazine or anything like that. And then after 3 years, it automatically expires, so there's no worry that, you know, they're going to take everything away forever. And then let's just look at the numbers. And I want to do it like the pot thing. People are like, drugs should be legal. Let's just start with pot, okay? Let's make pot legal. We'll work our way from there. So I said, let's just say you can keep your AR-15, but you can only have a 10-round magazine. You don't need you can't have a 30-round magazine for any gun. It's ridiculous. You don't need 30 rounds for that shit, right? Let's just see where it goes. There's no harm in it. And then and if after 3 years we've said it's made some impact or no impact or we're not sure, then put it on the table again and offer to do it again. And we got to try something. I said you can't start the argument conceding nothing because it can't go anywhere.
See, and he fell for that because you know there would be an impact. Let's just start with 10-round mags, and if there's a change, maybe we'll stick with 10 round. There's gonna be numbers that agree with it.
Yeah, I mean, he said I agree. He agreed that the guns that these people are using are part of the issue. He said, but he's more of the mindset of people like that shouldn't have these guns. And I said, we can't tell who people like that are until it's too late in all of these cases. We couldn't tell with the Vegas guy. We couldn't tell with Orlando. Like in the gun store people and this person, they both had the same point, which was the government's failing us here. They're failing us letting these people get these guns. But then I said, how is the government supposed to know what your mental health condition is? I said, they can't legally. Your doctor is the only person who's allowed to know that information. And they said, yeah, and they're mandatory supposed to report. I'm like, yeah, and they do. But if you don't go to the doctor and you don't get diagnosed, how is anyone going to know that you're fucked up? Nobody is. And then you get I said, yeah, I see that form you keep pointing to. I've bought a gun. I filled that out. It says, are you fucking crazy? No, just check no. And that's it. That's the background check. And they go, yep, it looks like he's not crazy. They check and see if you've done any violent crimes or whatever. The other thing, Dale, is, have you heard, just anecdotally, have you ever heard of someone getting their house broken into or carjacked or robbed at gunpoint by an assault rifle?
No.
Never heard of that. I've never heard. I tried looking it up. You know, I've never heard of this happening. Because one of the arguments was, well, if the bad guys can have guns like that, I need guns like that. I'm like, what bad guys are holding up a 7-Eleven with an AR-15? I'll tell you, none of them.
Yeah, well, the bad guys aren't.
They got a $30 high point 9mm. That's all they need.
Yeah,
to
they're
just
doing
point.
a quick. They're doing a quick in and out. They're not. This isn't the OK Corral.
Yeah, and
for them.
they were saying, well, the pistols are easier to conceal. Shouldn't you be more worried about it? I said, no, I'm not, because if you look at the numbers, people aren't getting killed en masse by one gunman that's got a pistol. I said Virginia Tech, but he had 2 pistols and he had 30-round magazines for him. He said, let's take those magazines away. He said, it's not going to stop it. I said, I didn't say we could stop it, but we can mitigate the damage, can't we? Jeez Louise. Christ almighty. Lord above.
Yeah, well, at least you got some coffee out of it. You know, you went for coffee, you talked, you made a friend. You're never talking to this person ever again, are you?
No, I would imagine I would. He was, like I said, he was a really nice guy, and he was willing to talk about everything, and he was very calm. He never got all fired up like the people at the gun store did.
Get him the fuck out of
Yeah,
here.
get this fucking guy out of here.
Get this libtard the fuck out of my store.
They didn't have accents like that.
Jerry, you don't work here.
They had the South Side. You could get him out of the store. White Sox all the way. They sounded more like that.
Ah, jeez.
Yeah. I had a great time, and that guy's got some nice guns.
Now, yeah. See, you went to a range, you're not mentioning it. I like the idea of a range if I wanted to go shoot a big, cool gun. I just go there, I throw him some money. I said, let me see that for a little bit so I can come. And then I shoot my big gun, and then I go home. And there's this one by me, and I've been waiting for it to open forever and ever, and it did. And it's called, I thought, what the fuck it's called? Eagle Shooting Range. And I was like, it's open. They got a big, cool sign in the front. And then within like 3 months, they got fucking robbed. And like all their guns, all their fucking big toys got stolen. And I will never go to that place because they're fucking idiots.
Oh, how do you rob a goddamn gun store?
Yeah, like I wouldn't feel safe there. It's like, it's like you just can't respect that shit.
Yeah, it's
you can't. It's like a guy who just like knows his wife cheats on him on the regular and then kisses her on the mouth, and you're like, I don't respect you, dude. I just can't do it. Get rid of her. Like they should just sold the property the next day. Said, there's no way in hell we can do this with a straight face.
No, you definitely
we're
can't.
A joke.
That's the thing, man. Even at a gun store, if I was trained and I just kicked the door in with an AR-15, I'll get shot, probably, right? But like people are dying, for sure. You know, it doesn't matter. Like you think like no one would ever rob a gun store. All those people are armed in there. They're just stupid. But they're talking to the customers. They're filling out forms, and you just walk in the door and just start shooting. People are going to get shot before they even know what's happening.
They're fiddling with dummy rounds and dropping them.
Throwing magazines on the counter and picking them up off the ground. I mean,
that motherfucker was playing cowboy. Do you hear this? This is what I hear. He's just like, you don't like my guns. Watch this trick I can do. Fuck. I dropped it.
Yeah, he fucked it up.
I fucked up my trick. Watch this other trick I do. Watch this dump. Fuck, I dropped it. So you probably saw a lot of that guy's ass that day as he just kept bending over to pick up his toys.
Yeah, I don't think it was a good day for him. But I'm sure he was like, man, I've got him so good, didn't I, guys? Yeah, you did. You told him. Whatever. I was, like I said, I didn't go there to do that. And I wouldn't have. I think it was sort of rude of this person to do that, put me in that position. But
yeah, it's super shitty.
But I thrive in that position, so it's fine. But I would never do that to somebody.
Yeah, it's super shitty.
Like I wouldn't take him to some vegan tofu gluten-free meeting and tell him, oh, this guy thinks all the teachers need guns, which is not what he said. He didn't say that, but. But also, I didn't say we should take all the guns away, so maybe I should say that. And he goes, you fucking white, male, privileged, cisgender motherfucker. That's what happened. They'd give him that shit. He'd eat the shit.
Eat it.
It was cool. I'll go shooting with him again. He's a nice guy.
Jim, can we go shooting together?
I would love
Can you take me? Can we flip the roles? And you can be that guy, but cooler, and I can be you and less brave. And you take me shooting.
Yeah, but you
gotta
gotta
pay for it. But
Yeah,
we'll do it.
I might. See, I don't have guns though. Like
Well, that's fine. Can you rent them?
You can rent them. You can rent them. They're usually it's usually like $20 or something
Give me that big gun.
to rent one. I'll tell you where I wouldn't take you is Pelcher's in Lansing. That place sucks. I'll put them on blast right now.
Yeah, we got this bear place over here, and there's the eagle place that I just won't out of fucking pride and common sense.
You know what place I've always loved, and maybe I shouldn't bring this up because I don't know. There's a lot of they make the news a lot because of where they're located. Chuck's over in Riverdale.
Oh, yeah, Riverdale. Yeah.
That place, everybody there, every time I've gone in there has been so nice and very knowledgeable and very accommodating and funny, like had a sense of humor. Never had any problems there.
I just learned that place is still around by what you just
Maybe
said.
it is. It was around in 2012.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
It's a good place. We'll go in we'll wait till the weather's warm. We'll go to an outdoor range.
Hell yeah.
People aren't breathing down your neck in there and shooting indoors is even if you got ear protection on, it's loud. You know, it's like
Well, and Jerry can shoot out into the sky. It's fine. Jerry.
Oh man. Yeah. I've been shooting a bunch of times. That's never happened. I've never run into that in my life. Someone's shooting the ceiling again. God damn it!
He didn't look at you.
No,
for a reason, because he knew who the fuck it was.
But he wasn't.
Mr. Moneybags in the corner, who's there 3 times a week, and he's just ass, but he just loves guns.
This one guy had his girlfriend there, or whoever, his mom, something.
His mom friend.
She was just deathly afraid of it. You could just tell by the way people hold it. When they're holding it like it's a dirty diaper. Like you're just asking for that thing to fly out of your hand. Hold it like it's a fucking fat dick. Don't hold it like a dirty diaper.
Oh, that would definitely bust my teeth then. Come here, you.
And the guy was like, "We'll start you. We'll do 9mm first." I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "Do you want to shoot some 45?" And I was like, "Yep, I totally do." And he didn't have any 40 caliber, and then we bonded on that. We both hate shooting 40 caliber. It's like the worst of everything.
Is that like the Winchester?
The 40 caliber is like, it's like in between a 9mm and a 45 size wise, but it's got a lot more powder in it than either of those. It's got a lot more velocity coming out, but it's just a hard round to shoot. Like a 45, you think of that as being like, oh, that's so much bigger. It must be harder to shoot. But it's not really. It doesn't have... It comes out slower than a 9mm bullet out of like the same size gun. And it's weird to describe. It sort of like pushes back into you. Whereas the 40 caliber guns, they seem to just like snap high on me. Like they're harder to control. And I just don't like them. It's not fun.
Fuck them.
And they're expensive. Fuck that shit.
Fuck them.
Fuck them. Let's talk about your favorite wrestler of all time.
Today, it was announced Jeff Jarrett will be entering the WWE Hall of Fame.
Now, we touched on this a little bit, didn't we? When we sort of tossed that around, is he going to get in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, and I'm sure I said no, absolutely not, 100%. I literally would have bet my life on it. Glad I didn't, but that's how certain I was, and I didn't expect this for 2 reasons. The first one, and I've been saving this Jeff Jarrett sin for later, but this seems like a good time to do it because I can't believe this motherfucker's getting in. Let me take you back to October 1999.
Take me there.
He was Intercontinental Champion. He's good friends with Vince Russo, so he's always going to have a strap. He's always going to have angles and TV time. But Vince Russo was out the door, and Jarrett was, going to be out the door as well. Good.
Jarrett said, "Hold
fine.
the door."
Get out. Yeah, wait for me, Vince. And the plan was for Jarrett to drop the IC title to China at No Mercy, a pay-per-view that took place on October 17th. However, his contract ends on October 16th, the day before.
Oh,
So this
God.
this guy has your title, and he's no longer under contract.
I think
So
I've heard of this. I think I've heard of this story.
So he technically doesn't have to do any of that. I don't even have to show up to No Mercy. Vince McMahon, sorry. But he said, you know what? I'll do it. I'll do the job for China at No Mercy, Vince. I sure will. For $500,000. I will do that.
Yeah, I've heard this story before. I've heard Jim Cornette talk about it.
And, I mean, he had Vince by the fucking balls. And needless to say, Vince wasn't happy, but he did it. And Jeff Jarrett did the job at No Mercy. China wins. Title changes hands. And later on, Jeff Jarrett would use a lot of this money as seed money to get TNA going later on. And Vince McMahon obviously, supposedly just hated Jeff Jarrett's guts for what he's done. Like, this is such a carny shithead move. And it makes sense. And we talked about when WWE bought WCW, and he said, that motherfucker's not coming here. He's GOONNWE gone. And it was like, yep, absolutely. He didn't say that about anyone else, but Jeff Jarrett, don't even fucking bother calling. Don't even look this way. Just go straight to the Indies. Go straight to your dad, because you are not coming here ever.
That's reason one.
And it makes sense.
Right,
and
it
makes
does.
sense. The second reason I never thought that Jeff Jarrett would be in the WWE Hall of Fame is because he doesn't deserve it. Name one Hall of Fame level match or feud or angle. Remember when he had that legendary feud with The Undertaker? No. How about Mo and Mabel from Men on a... No. There's nothing. Can you? I'm going to throw it out there. Do you remember any key feuds with Jeff Jarrett?
I do, but I don't think it's Hall of Fame worthy, because it was with a Hall of Famer, but a guy that never won the big one.
Who's this?
He had a feud with Razor Ramon.
A little bit.
When he was early in.
Yeah, and he, like, his biggest storyline and angle that I can think of personally is Road Dogg, the roadie.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett has this song, and then we find out he didn't sing it. It was the roadie. It's Road Dogg, Jesse James. But to me, that storyline was more about the Road Dogg,
right,
than Jeff Jarrett. And he just doesn't deserve to be in. And here's the thing, and I know you might be thinking it. You're going to say, Dale, Coco Beware. None of this matters. Coco Beware is in the Hall of Fame. But here's this. Coco did more for this fucking business than Jeff Jarrett. He wasn't only better, but like Coco Beware was one of the first mainstream black wrestlers for kids to look up to. He wasn't a fucking stereotype or evil black man heel. He was fun and vibrant, and he had a fucking macaw. Like, that shit's iconic. Jeff Jarrett had a guitar, which had been done before. He had a hot valet, which had been done before. He only got this far because of his father, and even that had been done before. Nothing he fucking did was original.
And if you look at some of the guys that got far because of their lineage, they were generally guys that were all really good, though. Like legendarily good. Mr. Perfect, Bret Hart,
Randy Orton, you know? What?
Texas Tornado. You know, it comes from a lineage, and they weren't just like schlubs that nobody gave a fuck about.
And Coco Beware was over, because I'm really on this Coco Beware thing.
He was over. Oh, yeah, he
He was
totally
over. Jeff Jarrett was never over. Coco Beware was athletic. He was doing fucking brainbusters and top rope drop kicks in the 80s. Shit, Daniel Bryan would bust out in 2000s. People were like, this is the new generation of wrestling. Coco Beware was doing it. Jeff Jarrett did what? He did Ric Flair's moves, the figure four. He did Ric Flair's strut. How fucking insulting.
Yeah, he didn't quite do it like Ric Flair. But he
No,
didn't
it was
quite do it.
fucking
It's not like he did
terrible.
the figure four like The Miz.
that's
Was that
just,
a work? Like, is that a bit?
The Miz?
Him not being
figure
able
four?
to do the figure four?
I don't know if he shoots wrong-handed or something, and he couldn't tie it together in his head.
Because it's not like he just did it once. Like, oh, remember that one time he messed up the figure four? He did it. He's done it several times.
He did it a lot. And
I did think Coco Beware, as soon as you said he doesn't deserve, like before you got to he doesn't deserve it, I was thinking like Coco Beware though, Coco Beware. But I agree with you. And Coco Beware, it seems like Jeff Jarrett is not well liked by anyone. So maybe Coco Beware was well liked by most people. So maybe that was part of it, you know?
Maybe.
And that goes a long way. And he was there during the golden age of
he
modern
helped
wrestling.
establish WWF. You have your Hulk Hogan, you have your Sergeant Slaughter, the Army guy, and you've got one of your first big black superstars.
I mean, he was on more than one WrestleMania, wasn't he?
Oh,
I swear he was. I swear he was at like 6 and 3 or something like that.
Oh, I'm sure he was.
I can't name one WrestleMania moment for you for Jeff Jarrett.
I was out SummerSlam '94. I was there, United Center. He wrestled. I think that was one of the Men on a Mission matches. Just everything he did was bad. And this is the end of the WWE Hall of Fame. That's it. I thought Drew Carey was the worst inductee we'd ever see, but here we are.
You'd rather have David Arquette.
David Arquette is actually like he didn't want to be in that position. He did. I mean,
correct.
Here's my question. Here's my question to you, Jim. Who's going to induct him?
God damn. I didn't even get that far. I didn't even get that far.
I hope it's Vince.
That is a great point. Who inducts Vince Russo, maybe?
But yeah, Vince Russo's buddy. Maybe Road Dogg because of that angle. Vince Russo, his buddy. Maybe China. Oh, that's right. Everyone who's associated with him fucking dies.
So the $500,000 thing, I swear that was like a Bruce Pritchard oversight that he got, like Vince chewed him out on it or something.
Oh, I mean, absolutely.
I think that's where I remember hearing about it, is like Bruce Pritchard talking about it on his podcast, which is very entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, you have to know who are my champions. When does their contract expire?
And they fucked up with Rick Rude too. Like that whole time he was.
Oh yeah.
On Raw, they were like, we just had him on like a week-to-week deal. We didn't think anything was gonna happen, and then he just was on Nitro the same night he's on Raw. Whoops.
Yeah, shaved and shit, so you knew it was different.
Whew. Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's a shame. You're right, because Coco Beware was part of an era. Like you said, positive black role model, one of the first like non-heel black wrestlers, very colorful gimmick. He was super over. He was just it was a crowded time. Like there were a lot of guys from back then that I remember vividly that didn't win the world title, you know? So I get it. But Jeff Jarrett like never had, at a time when everyone was winning the world title in both things, he only won it like when WCW was done. Like he didn't win he never won the WWF heavyweight the world championship, right? Just Intercontinental.
And the tag belts, he just
it's mid card. Everything he did just seemed just mid card. Like it was never like him and Flair for the third go around in this like you said. There's just nothing that he never headlined a WrestleMania.
I just like in ring, I can't think of anything, and maybe out of ring, like he didn't bring in the Southern audience. He didn't bring in like music fans, like, oh, we gotta watch that Jeff Jarrett guy. He's a country star, music wrestler, man. He didn't bring in anybody new. He didn't do anything.
I mean, people hated him, as a heel, but
no, that's X-Pac heat, man.
But I think people just hated him because they just hate him. I don't think they hated him. I don't think they hated him like they hated Zeus.
Oh no, Zeus like don't touch my Hulk Hogan. Fuck you. Like he was never anybody's villain. Like I said, like that Road Dogg was as close as it gets. Anything he did with Flair, like the Owen tag team, we just talked about that. China. Like, no, none of that. Like when people talk about China's top feuds or China stuff, no one's fucking talking about Jeff Jarrett. But he's going to get into the Hall of Fame and he's going to get a big fucking WWE Hall of Fame ring that he's going to melt down into fucking TNA gold or whatever the fuck.
Has he ever... Here's a question. Even if you look at the greats of all time, you look at a lot of the Hall of Famers, Most of them that I can think of, except maybe like is Ricky Steamboat's in the Hall of Fame, right? It's got to be.
I assume so.
He better be. If maybe he was never a heel, but most people, even if they were a heel in like the Attitude Era, they would get so over that they just became de facto faces, right? He never had any of that. People just genuinely didn't like him and didn't want to see him on their television. You know, like Razor Ramon came in as a heel, and people just liked him.
They put him with a hot chick.
They were forced to turn him a face. You know, Undertaker, they were forced to make him a face. He was just too over. And the Legends, which is what the Hall of Fame's about, you know, the way I look at it, they always have that. And just, it seems like nobody ever, put it this way. When I was a kid, I liked Koko B. Ware. I knew other people that liked Koko B. Ware. I never one time ever in my life, when talking about wrestling, ever heard one person, even ironically, tell me that they liked Jeff Jarrett.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
Yeah, not like the guitar thing.
You mean the Honky Tonk Man?
Right. Like, I love chair shots. I grew up in that era. I love that shit. But even I couldn't get behind that phony ass guitar bullshit. Now here's the rest of the class, and just tell me yay or nay if you think they deserve it. Dudley Boy is getting in this year.
Yay.
Ivory getting in.
I'm going to say yay, but I'm treating it like the Basketball Hall of Fame. You know, not just the WWE Hall of Fame. So I'm going to say yay. She's got history, you know, it was like a female pioneer type thing.
Right, yeah, she did more for her division than Jeff Jarrett did in whatever niche he supposedly had. The last one here, it's going to be a yay. Goldberg.
Yay.
Goldberg, you know, did a lot. Sucked in the ring, but he did a lot of things. Good for the business. A lot of eyes. Iconic run.
He was in great shape. He had a great look. He had a cool finisher. He had like a big, powerful, cool finisher. Yeah, he ended the career of my favorite wrestler of all time, but that's in the past. He was, if you want to talk about people where like maybe you don't like him now, but you're just forgetting how over that he was. Like he was super over.
It was always a spectacle and kind of must see just to see who he's facing. Is he going to win? Probably. How is he going to, you know, there's always interest.
For me, it was like the last taste of them making it like a real combat sport, like trying to promote it like a real fight. You know, like this guy's just too good. Like you're just not going to beat him. He's just too good. Mm-hmm. You know, it was like the last grasp at that, like kayfabe sort of this is a fight type thing.
Mm-hmm. For any of our listeners, I'm just going to throw this challenge out there. If you can link on our Not Like This Facebook page any good to great matches with Jeff Jarrett, 'cause I'm genuinely curious because there's a match, China in New Japan against Tanahashi, and it's like a 6-minute match, but it was a good fucking match. I never in a million years thought I would see China against Tanahashi in a good match. Maybe there's something out there. Show me a 4-star. I know there's no 5-star Jeff Jarrett matches. Show me something, because I'm curious to what they're going to show during their big, you know, highlight reel before they induct him. It's going to be all struts and guitar and pyro and Deborah, because they're not going to show any stretches of him wrestling.
You know what? Dale made it way too hard. Guys and gals, if there's just a match you like that has him in it, if you just like it, forget about it. Is it a 4-star match or if it's any good? If there's just, you could just find a moment, a match. It's got to be a match, not just a moment. If you find a match with Jeff Jarrett in it that you just like for any reason, post that, because I think you're going to come up dry with the hidden 4-star match that we're looking for.
Yeah, show me anything.
And I'll say this for next week. I have a band rehearsal / audition this week on a Wednesday.
Oh,
finally, meeting of the minds are happening. The genres are lining up. What we want to play, how we want to play it is sort of lining up via text. So I'm going to jam with these guys Wednesday. And then next week I will report back and let you know how that goes.
Cool. Yeah, next week I'll share a screenwriting gig post. We'll talk about this game called Sea of Thieves that I like. RLCS.
That you left me for.
I left you for it. RLCS update and Dirtbags update. All next week. It's going to be a packed show. Any other plugs before we mosey, or is that it? Just a good tease.
That's it. It's a good tease.
Good tease. Thanks for listening. I'm Jerry shooting the ceiling.
I'm Coco Beware's bird.
What's the name? What's the name of that bird?
God damn it, I can't remember, Dale.
Frankie.